Well, hello. Tony is in the mood. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So here we are, our Sparkle Hour every Tuesday, 8 p.m. UK time. I never know where it is, so all over the place. Hey, listen, I love Tony today. Actually went on. It's like, and this is for Central, and this is for Pacific. And I say, great, you figured out the times.
Yeah, it's I love it. I love that about the world now. We're like, what time is it where you are? Like, we're all just, it's awesome. It's so
it
cool.
Gets tricky when Australia, because they're like half a day ahead or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it gets really tricky because it's like, no, it's today. Well, you mean yesterday? No, today. It's quite funny, actually. Anyway, so here is Tony, and Tony will tell a little bit about himself in a minute. We have some information. Of course, we have our lovely Kellyanne. Oh, she looks sweet today. Oh my God, she looks amazing.
Wearing something normal for a change.
Oh,
there's no pineapples.
No pineapples. See, did you see that? Did you see? I actually put on the T-shirt with the tropical T-shirt today. Come on, guys. I'm doing an effort.
I love it. I love that. That intro was everything. I was literally like ready for a Mai Tai and ready to like do some limbo, and it was great.
All right. So what we're gonna do to just get to know you a little bit, we're gonna have a quick question round, which shouldn't take longer than 2 minutes. So it's basically I throw something at you, Kellyanne throws something at you. You just answer, and we move on to the next question. Ready?
Got it.
Pizza or pasta?
Pasta, 100%.
Morning or night?
Night.
Favorite color?
What was that?
Favorite color?
Favorite color, blue, hands down.
Favorite music?
Jazz.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Which famous person would you want to have coffee with, and why?
Oh, I think that would have to be Oprah. Because I'm obsessed with her. I don't even know how or why. I just am. I'm just obsessed with her.
I'm as well. I mean, she's amazing, isn't she? Right. Okay, pina colada or Long Island iced tea?
Long Island all the way.
Shower or bath?
Bath. Or as you both beautifully say, bath. Yes.
Paris or London?
London.
Club or romantic dinner at home?
Oh, what was the first one?
Club.
Oh, or romantic dinner at home.
All right. Historical person that passed away you would like to have met, and why?
Shakespeare. Because I think he was completely off his rocker, and it would have been really fun to hang out with him.
Amazing. Book or Netflix?
You know what? I want to say book, but the truth is Netflix.
And the final question, chameleon or flamingo?
Oh, chameleon.
Chameleon. And here we go. This is now going to keep up here for a second because I'm going to put my right now. So yeah, I have to do something here. Guys, I have to be quick. I know Callum will laugh. And we're going to tell you the story about the flamingos in a second. Where is it now? Save, and there we go. End show. Here we go. Sorry, I had to take the piss out of her. But you see, my office has turned into chameleon central. So I have like chameleons everywhere now on the wall and everything. And it's quite funny. I don't know how it came, Karen. I think it was a conversation we had, and you said, oh my God, I love flamingos and everything. So when we created basically Sparkle Your Magic Impact. So I started to create a logo, and the first logo had a flamingo inside, and I knew Karen was gonna love that one. So, and then I went all overboard. I had flamingos everywhere, but then eventually I said, listen, I'm not really a flamingo, am I? I'm actually more of a chameleon because, and I tell why, because I feel like I have done so many things in my life, from being a chef, being a cabin crew, being a motivational speaker, a keynote speaker, even some actor. Like I wanted to become a musical actor. And it's just like, I feel like it's probably my ADHD brain. It's like, it gets bored. So, I don't feel bored anymore what I'm doing right now. I think we really found our true calling, and that's how everything started as well. An interesting fact, which I didn't know about you, Tony, was like you as well, a Beachbody coach, asked Kellyanne and I about, and that's how all started actually. Initially, we wanted to do some business coaching because we didn't believe in this hey girl and invite, and keep inviting and annoying and losing your friends, basically. And so we said, okay, we can do that way better, we believe, and we're go-giver in the core, and we can do way better. That's how it all started. Then eventually, the go-giver, as it is very sales-orientated, obviously Bob Burke talks about sales here, but the go-giver is more than sales. It's actually in every aspect in your life. And something that's really interesting for me, because when we met, Tony, and I have been following, Kayan knows a bit, I've been following you for 2 years with Amanda Rose, but I have never been really engaged in your groups. It just followed. It's like, you know, what you do in the pandemic, you get more and more groups and you listen to it. And I love Amanda Rose, and I really would like to get her one day on the show as well, because her message of abundance, and as you are, is like, you know, the laws that we live by, actually. And I think it's really interesting when we said then there's a way deeper message here. It's not only business, it's everything in life. And as you said earlier, we're in the pandemic, where I think we're still in the pandemic. I mean, even if everybody's forgotten about it somehow already. But it's just like interesting how we can impact people and how much we can impact people. And that's what it is. But tell us a bit about you, what you have done. I'm going to take off the ticker because that's good.
Well, first of all, Kellyanne, I love flamingos too. So just so you know, I'm definitely bi. I love chameleons and flamingos.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's the only way I'm bi. But anyway, otherwise I'm full on gay. But anyway, the point is, I am obviously an LGBTQ plus life and business coach. I'm an NLP practitioner, and I'm a speaker. Those are my main things that I do right now, although I'm very much a multipreneur, because in another life, I'm also an actor. I'm also a course creator and, you know, filmmaker. So I do a little bit of everything, like you, Chris. But I think for me, what I'm most passionate about these days is really helping mainly coaches, course creators, service providers show up in a real authentic way, infuse themselves into their biz, and like stop taking things so seriously. Like you said earlier, like really bringing the fun, the boldness, the uniqueness to business. And I always like to say it's business without the suit, right? Like we're in a world now where it's not about doing the status quo. It's not about doing the social norms. It's not about showing up in the way that everyone else is doing in these old antiquated ways. It's really about your business is the creative expression of you, and it should be fun and exciting and interesting and unique. And if it's not, what the hell are you doing? You know? So that's what I do.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And as well, the big thing for me, so this is, I don't know whether Chris has mentioned kind of what I do as my day job. So I'm actually a nurse in the army.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's a huge sort of body of stuff going on at the moment around authenticity and about females in the military actually being able to be themselves. Because for me, for the last, 18 years of my life, I've had to fit in with the blokes, for want of another word, you know, and now finding this sort of side of life and getting into coaching and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of given me the opportunity to be more authentic now, because I don't feel like I have to be one of the lads anymore, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
totally
I really
makes
get
sense.
that message. Totally get that message.
So aligned with you. I mean, the beginnings of this for me was really growing up queer and not knowing who I was and not having anyone that I could really connect with authentically, and feeling like who I was at the core was something shameful or something to hide. And I think, you know, for me, I grew up with a really toxic pattern that I developed, which was people pleasing and trying to do what everyone wanted. And, you know, as I got into acting in an earlier lifetime, it was the same idea. Like I was showing up to auditions, feeling like I was just trying to like tick everyone's boxes and do what everyone wanted. And that business kind of a little bit facilitates that, you know, like it's that whole idea of proving yourself that's so rampant in that industry. And I think for me, I discovered as I became more and more comfortable with who I was and how to like step into that, I discovered that that's actually the point, right? Like it's your ability to be authentic. That's your superpower. It's you know, I like to say with my clients, my programs, like authenticity is the real business success. Because I think we always see this, right? It's like the 10K month, the 2,000 clients, the this, the that, the mailing list, that all of these things that are very much outcomes that people attach or hang their hat onto. But I know from experience, you can attain success or some level of success and feel completely empty and feel completely inauthentic. And so for me, I'm like, I think true success is like being able to wake up every morning and being like, this is who I am. And then when you get to be able to actually impact lives and make money through that, I think that's ultimately the real success that people don't talk about enough.
And that's a very good point, Tony, because I don't know how much you know, but I like me as well. It's like I have been quite successful. I have many companies, and this morning on the podcast, actually, I think I talked about it, and being fulfilled. I was doing things where, running major corporations, being in Asia, working for Orient Express, being one of the top companies actually in luxury travel, and I never did keynote speeches, and people always thought like, oh my God, he's always smiling and he's amazing, and I actually was like that. But inside I was completely empty, and I was very good. I was a very good actor, as I probably should have won for the last 30 years 10 Oscars, because I made people believe on a daily basis that I was all right, but inside I was empty. I was just empty. Little did I know, and that just happened this year, a couple of months ago, we had a mental breakdown. And what came out that I have been abused by my parents mentally, physically, and sexually in my entire childhood. And that's how you see our brain is bloody amazing. How could I can trace it back now up to 14, actually. How much I actually blocked that out of my brain. It just erased it. It was not erased. It was there. It just all came out right now. So I had a breakdown and got then diagnosed with CPTSD. And then I actually went exactly this authenticity coming back to me, where I said, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep running? I have 5 businesses. Well, I've sold 3 already. Do I actually want to keep doing that? What am I passionate about? Yes, I am passionate about helping other people. I'm helping them in their business, but more, it's actually in general in their life. And that's where we go. Sparkle Your Magic Impact is just in every aspect of your life. And you love our sentence where we say changing the Joes of this world.
Yes.
And every day, that's what we do. And it is so funny when you look, abundancy, what actually happens when you become abundant. It's just like, as well, you have to trust in these laws. And one of the big things for me was when I read the Go Giver book, where I said, holy cow, let's try that and be actually the value, and don't even think about the payment. What do I get in return? Because everything is like, what do I get in return? We start on question as well in business. Okay, we're creating this product, which probably might be great product, but we're not really, we're focusing already on the monetary return, which is exactly the wrong way to do it. And as soon I applied that in my life, it's kind of funny. I have given so much value coaching hours and hours on end to people that paid 0 for it. But what I have gotten back in return is in tenfold, in absolute tenfold.
Yeah.
Out of areas where I would never expected, people that reached out to us. And that is what is really the impressive part of it. But that's when we both made the conscious decision, said like, we're going to take this big. We actually going to take this big. For us, it's not even a question. We joke about it. We have this empire. We have this us in front of us. We're building just the yellow brick road to get there right now, but it's there already. We just have to go the way. And for us, it's really, really important to do that and to impact it. I mean, getting up every morning, and it's great how you said that. I get up every morning now at 5:15, and I hate mornings, honestly. I hate mornings. So every morning at 5:15, and by 5:30, I sit here with my coffee and I pick the affirmation card. And I read the card, and then I do the podcast. And it's out. The first couple of episodes, I had some issues with my system here, but then by now it's on a daily basis, and I love doing that. And I love the people that reach out to me and say, wow, I've been really impacted because you really hit me on the core of what was going on in my life. And I think that's what it's all about. And that's why we are authentic business owners. Yes, we make money. We have to talk about it. We're not doing it just for free, but first of all, is the value of what we are giving to the people. And I think that's great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 100%. I mean, first of all, who doesn't have really messed up money, histories, right? We all learn really negative things about money. We all kind of struggle in some way, shape, or form about it. But I think exactly what you're explaining, when we take the focus off to people, the best way to start making money is to stop trying to make money, right? And I think, when we start to actually look at money for what it really is, which is an energy exchange and a way for you to, exchange goods and services and energy, we take off the value that we place on it, which is kind of this idea of this very charged all or nothing kind of energy, and we measure our self-worth. So oftentimes when we have a real big money issue, it's really a self-worth issue. And that's why, again, it goes back to authenticity. Like when you know how valuable you are just on your own, what you have to show up and give to the world, you get to a point where money becomes an inevitability. It becomes just a part of that process and the give back and a way for people to work with you in a deeper, stronger way, right? And I think what's great is that we're starting to get into the world of give without, like you're saying, without thinking about receiving. It's about really giving that. Like for me, every time I go live, and I go live quite a bit, every time I go live, I'm just really focused on how can I change one person's day today? Like, how can I give them something that's going to help them move forward? And what's great is that, I used to, when I was really starting out in the online space about like 8 or 9 years back, I was very much like you, focused on, like the money and trying to figure that out. And I think the challenge with that is that I would go into conversations with people, or I would be doing programs, and it'd always be like, for what outcome? Like, what purpose do I want? So that this can relate to this ROI and all this kind of stuff, right? And I would never be present. And I called my company The Present You Inc. because I realized that like my biggest power and my ability to be authentic comes from my ability to be present. So like when I'm fully present with someone, i.e. I'm not trying to think about how much money they're going to give me or not give me or blah, blah, blah. I'm actually just focused on serving and showing up and helping them. And there's something really powerful of greater purpose in that, because, hey, I may not make a dime from this person, but that doesn't matter. What I'm doing is I'm affecting a change in them, and I'm trusting the laws of the universe. I'm trusting manifestation that can I swear on here? That shit is coming back. That shit's coming back around, and I'm not doing it because the shit's coming back around, but I'm trusting that it is. And like you said, the empire is being built. And so, for me, like I'm on my third, like really like my sixth, but my third big business went in the coaching world right now. And my ability to scale and be successful as a coach, and I do consider myself quite financially and more specifically energetically successful, comes from my ability to be present with each individual person. Like that's the key. It's that personalization. It's that connection that makes people know, like, and trust you, and makes people want to invest with you. That's been my experience.
Yeah. She just sits there and goes,
yeah.
I love it.
To be fair, when I first started getting into sort of, again, like the coaching space, a lot of it was like just a bit of trial and error. So I'd like go to the shops and just give somebody a random compliment. I know this sounds really ridiculous.
I love that.
But then something really cool would happen later on in the day, and I'd be like, is that because of that? And it took me quite a while and then I started connecting the dots, and I thought, oh my God, this is like actually a thing. Yeah. And that kind of just sort of carried on over the sort of following couple of months to just over a year now. But I was very much like Chris. I had not so much a mental breakdown, but I was suffering from panic attacks and anxiety. And it wasn't until I met my coach, Noor, and I was able to work through that. Mm-hmm. And again, because she helped me cross that bridge, that's what made me take the decision that I could do it with other people and help them to get through that sort of thing. But again, then I met Chris, and everything just snowballs. Like you always say, don't you, Chris? Everything happens for a reason.
Well,
and that was
I find when you get into the vibration of authenticity, and because really the vibration of the authenticity is the vibration of the world and the universe, right? Like everything in the universe is authentic, and including you, right? Like we're all authentic. It's not that we're stepping into like, now I'm authentic, I wasn't yesterday. It's like the awareness of it's the awareness of who you are, because you're going to be you no matter what you do. Like I have this conversation with people, I'm like, you're always present technically, but what happens is you're not conscious of your presence. You're conscious of like the past or the future, which are both constructs that don't really exist, right? And so I think what's interesting is like when we get really zeroed into the vibration of authenticity, we start to line up with the universe, and that's when like all this crazy shit happens, like amazing crazy things happen, and we're like, this just feels so poetic almost. It's like this is happening and this is happening, and it just feels like everything is lining up. And inversely, when we get out of that rhythm, right, like when we give into the like complaining and the, you know, the real kind of pessimistic viewpoint, I'm not talking about realistic because a sense of realism is important, but like the pessimistic viewpoint, when we're like choosing to look at everything in the negative way, I think when we get into that vibration, that's when shit hits the fan in our life, and we feel like, why is nothing working?
And it's so funny you just say that, because exactly that was one of the subjects today in my podcast, where I'm talking about negativity. And if you have lived so long in negativity and you're expecting now the law of attraction to work, it's not a light switch you turn on or you turn off as you like. You have lived so long in negativity, now it's going to come, but it takes a while to actually come, and it will come. You have to trust in it, but it actually works faster than you would think. And sometimes it's like this. And as I said, for me, it was just the conscious decision I made. I said, okay, I'm done flying. I'm done with my other businesses. I'm done being that, and I'm done with all that. All I want to do right now is impact people. I mean, I'm an NLP master coach and trainer. I'm a platinum member with Tony Robbins. I follow Tony, I think, since I was 20, whatever. We are in the Success Club of Bob Burke and everything, which is like, it's just like-minded people. And it's really funny as well, as I was saying earlier, we're 2 years, well, follow you 2 years already. Never reached out to you. We never spoke, not even in the group. And then you reached out to me like last week, but you have to be honest, you sent me a message on Facebook, which I didn't even see immediately, because I tell you as well, which you get when you're in groups, you get so many advertising messages like, oh, I'm doing this. Yeah, great. If I would do all the trainings, I would be probably sitting here 24 hours around the clock and trying to get through that. But then later on in the afternoon, or in the evening, I saw your message and I read it, and you just reached out and said, oh my God, I love your message, changing the doors of the world. And we got in a conversation, and really from the moment immediately, we knew there was an alignment. And it's so funny as well how the podcast went in the last week, because you see, honestly, I'm here. There's my box with all the affirmation cards. So it's like, I don't know, there are quite a few in there actually, right? So there are, I think, about 150 in there. So
I love that.
I took them randomly in the morning. It could be any card in the morning. But the funny thing about it is, every morning card in the last 15 days that I've done, it actually builds up the next day. So it's so funny. It lines all up from being motivated to be passionate about, and it all lines up. And I actually find myself every day, and I'm like, I'm just talking about what I talked about yesterday, and it's actually the follow-up, but it's exactly what it is, and that's why it impacts people. And I think it's so important to get this message into people. We have completely forgotten about it. And I grant you, technology has actually done quite a bit negative and positive, both sides, but I think a lot of negative as well. People just don't focus anymore on other people. And I find it interesting was just like saying, like, hello, say hello, or something nice to a person. During the pandemic in March last year, I went to a supermarket, and I felt really heartfelt for the NHS employees here in the UK. They had worked double shifts and everything. So I was standing in the at the cash desk, and there was an NHS nurse in front of me, and she had a bottle of wine and, you know, some cheese, and you could tell she did double shift, and I think she bought some cigarettes and everything. So I just walked to the front and I tapped my card, and she just looked at me and she's like, what? And I said, no, it's on me. I said, that's my way to say thank you to you for all your work you do. She started to cry at the cash desk, and even the cashier looked at me like, huh? And I'm like, seriously, it doesn't matter. It was £25 a bottle of wine, and I hope she enjoyed the bottle of wine. And I did it afterwards in the pandemic again, another time. It's just, we don't even give gratitude to people that work for us on a daily basis and really risk their lives on top of it, and saying that. And I think when you have this mind shift in your head, where you actually start doing that, become a go-giver and not a go-taker actually anymore, it's abundance everywhere, and it just happens. And it's like, it's really difficult to explain it to people, because people don't believe in that. They say, oh, it's NLP techniques or whatever. And no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just really, yeah, it's a big mind shift, right?
I absolutely 100%. It's such an amazing story. And I think, I've always been people off of a building because we're angry or upset or whatever, right? And that's normal. It's human. But I do think that, like, in the online space specifically, like, I'll have some of my clients or some of my audience say to me, like, if you, like, in one sentence, how do I get more clients? Right? Or how do I, scale to this much every month? And I always say to them, like, I'll give it to you in 2 words, and it's care more. Like, that's it. Care more. Like, be the person that actually shows up and goes, hey, I really care about getting to know you. I really care about what you're doing. No strings attached. Like, I literally, because there's nothing worse, as you had mentioned, Chris, in those DMs and where the DMs go to die. There's nothing worse than someone who reaches out and they're like, hi, I've got this amazing system. And all you can feel is like, am I a number to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels dirty. It feels really dirty. It's like the equivalent of being in a club and someone being like, hey, my place or yours. And you haven't even said a word to them yet. And, if you're like 3 sheets to the wind, maybe you'll be like, my place. But the point is, like, no one wants to feel like they're not valued. Right. I think we all have that alike. We do want to feel like we're valued. And, I always go back to, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins as well. And, Les Brown and Brene Brown and all these amazing coaches and speakers. But I always go back to, like, people always remember how you made them feel. Like, that's number one, right? Like, they're not going to remember everything you said to them. They're not going to remember, a lot about what you or your story, but what they are going to remember is they're going to walk away going, wow, you really made me feel this. So I'm always saying to my people in my sphere, I'm always saying, like, you've got to go transformation first, always. Like, what is the transformation that you authentically are positioned to help people through? And I think that's really important to ask yourself, because we all have these, like, intricacies that we forget about because we're too busy, like, criticizing ourselves, looking in the mirror, picking out our flaws, right? We forget that there's actually, like, there's a whole cacophony of intricacies about us and things that we don't even realize that are actually super helpful for other people. It might be your humor. It might be the way that you kind of always, excuse yourself, like, when you're talking. It might be these little things that we kind of look at negatively. I'm always like, could that actually be something that endears people? Could that actually be something that makes someone else go, wow, if you can do it, I can do it. And I think that we've got to give more space to that. I'm not saying we all have to, like, completely love ourselves, because I think that's a lot. And I think a lot of people, I think we need to love ourselves more than we do. And we need to make space for your flaws are actually your power. And what's one thing you hate most about yourself? Can you make more room to love that thing, or at least lead with it in your work and in your life? That's huge.
It is. Mine, that's what we have with Kelly. And as well, when we talked initially, as I said, we were planning to do a course for Beachbody coaches, because we both believe this is not the way to go, honestly. And I bless them, and we all agree here, and it's like, we all agree that the programs work. Beachbody has changed my life and saved my life at several points, because I had and I still have, because I can't even say you never, it's like alcoholic, you never recovered. I have a really severe eating disorder. So I went from anorexic to binge eating obese, back to anorexia. And it's all triggered into my childhood, but we know that by now. But it's kind of interesting. So, but I always felt being a coach with them felt a bit of a yucky salesperson pitch for me. And that's how they teach you. And I find it really, I had the other day, I posted in one of the groups where I said, well, one coach reached out and said, well, what do you think should I do to get more clients? So I explained to her, and I just posted that, you know what, that's be authentic. Say what you have done. You have your transformation, which is great. And we all have our transformation with Beachbody. That's all good. And that's where you are actually do. But show up and say as well what didn't work, because I had moments where I was like, really? You want me to do that now? I can't really do it, you know. But instead of doing this yucky, hey, I do a new challenge group. Oh, I do need that one, because it's already sales pitch. You get, I mean, I can smell the bacon 3 miles against the wind, because I know you're going to sell me something right now. That's the next thing. It's not a free challenge group here you're trying to do. And, but, you know, I think we all have been guilty of that. We all have been doing, because we follow these systems, and it's a great system if you figure out what you can do. What can you provide to the person? You made it very clear, it's the value that you can give, and even the struggles you have. And if you give that to other people, because you're going to give them tips how to get past that one. Anyway, while we were talking about that, eventually one of the coaches came on, and she just literally posted, invite. And I just answered back and I said, well, that's exactly what you do not want to do. Because, and then I looked at her profile and she's diamond. Well, that's good. It's not even high up, but she just turned diamond. And they saying, oh, and then she said, but you see, I just got diamond. And I said, well, how long did it take you? For those people that don't know Beachbody system, there are steps. You go from emerald to diamond, and the higher you get, the more money you actually make on the distribution. Let's put it nicely, the distribution of the Beachbody products. And she said to me, she's been 4 years coach. And I said, well, it took you long, right? Because I went emerald in 3 days. And, you know, I went diamond. And the first time, before I fell out of the weight, the first time, I went diamond within about 4 months or whatever. But, you know, 5 years, that shows me that your invite strategy does not actually work, does it?
I'd like to see how many friends she lost along the way as well.
No, we don't even want to talk about
so bad.
That is so ridiculous.
Bad.
And I think, you know, I'm so glad you mentioned strategy, because I'm actually like a big proponent for build your own strategy, like build your own adventure. Like, this comes back to the whole authenticity thing. And I think, you know, a lot of us were like, I'm doing this strategy because this is what everyone says works. And I'm trying this strategy because, you know, and I'm always wary of people that are like, here's the, you know, the 5-step strategy. That's the only strategy that's going to help you, blah, 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 blah. And in the world of, you know, of Beachbody as well, like, I think we see this kind of rhetoric as well sometimes being put across. And certainly, you know, in an MLM, when they're building out like, here's the process, you know, I think the challenge and the setback of that is that you're not empowering your members to be self-starters. You're empowering them to kind of follow a cookie cutter. And I think the cookie cutter never works, because it's not specific to the person's energy, to the person's, you know, outlook, to who they are. And although, you know, I think I agree with you. I think the invite is completely like impersonal. It doesn't give you a chance to really connect with people. My big thing is like, people say like, how do you actually, you know, gain success? And I'm sure you'd both agree with this as well, but it really is in relationship building. It really is your time to actually get to know people, actually care about people. And I think, you know, when it comes to that world, I love that you're blowing it up. I love that you're like, that is not the way, like, and it's never going to work. And I think, you know, we get so caught up on milestones, on like, I need to get to this point, so I'm just going to invite, you know, my grandma, my dog, everyone. And it's just like, there's no, you know, there's no soul behind it. So I talk about soulful strategy, and soulful strategy is strategy that's like literally feels so aligned that like from us at a soul level, you're like, this just feels really good. Like this feels organic. It feels easy. It feels like a relationship, right? A relationship should, yeah, we all have struggles in relationships, but they should feel easy at the soul level. It should feel easy to be with someone you're very connected with. And it's the same with relationships in the business world. You've got to be at that soul level with them, because ultimately people are only ever investing in you. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Beachbody coach, if you're selling coaching, if you're selling, you know, Maybelline or makeup products down the street. It doesn't matter if you're selling fast food. Ultimately, what people are investing in is you. You are the energy that someone associates with your brand. It's why there's millions of dollars or pounds spent every year on commercials, on TV ads, because ultimately what they're doing is they're trying to evoke feelings in people. And that person goes, when I think of, you know, I'm trying to think of a store in the UK. Like, I'm so worldly, but you know, like I'm not, because I can't think of a shop. But like, you know, when I think of this fast food place, what's a famous?
Costa.
Thank you. Costa Coffee. I'm in Canada, and we have Tim Hortons, which is like
exactly
nice.
Yeah. At Costa Coffee, it's like, you know, I'm sure if they put ads on the radio or TV or in print, they're trying to get you to feel a specific feeling. Maybe it's family, maybe it's comfort, maybe it's whatever, right? But what they're not doing is going, Costa Coffee, look at this coffee, it's great. Look at the grounds, look at everything in this coffee, because you're kind of like, great, that's all great, but I don't really connect with that. So in business, it's like, what's the universal experience? Like, what do you provide? For me, it's like authenticity. It's the feeling of freedom in your life. You know, if I'm just going, you know, even with Beachbody, if I'm going in and going, you know, this is the program where you do this, it's like 25 hours of video and it's going to be blah, blah, blah. And I do all these features, because so many of us are features first, because we think if we just impress them with the features, then they'll be like, oh my God, great, sign me up. But the truth is, they don't really care about the features. What they care about is like, what's the feeling this is going to give me? And do you embody that? And if you're just sharing your story of like physical fitness and your story of like joy that you have in your life right now, and you let them know that, you don't even let them know it's Beachbody. You just talk about your life and how you're breaking through. If they want to know how, you can tell them it's Beachbody, and you can say, I use Beachbody. Okay. You know, but I think we don't talk about that enough, right?
I love it, because actually Tony was the other day online with you have the no bullshit business show, right?
Yes,
so,
with Amanda, yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny, because he was talking about that he's doing this new dance program for his Beachbody with Sean T, obviously, and he was like, you know, and he's really teasing me. He's saying like, okay, fine, do you want to see my ass? And I'm like, yeah, hell no, I want to see your ass. And it made me laugh, because I thought like, it's really funny, because that's what it is, and it was real. And I actually wrote yesterday to you in the message, I said, well, I like Sean, but I'm actually more the Amoya person right now, and I think he is fucking hot. Oh my God, he is. He has something, this man. So, you know, honestly, and that's why. But I love 645. Beside of that program, I think is one of the best programs they have ever produced. I do love Sean, and I love as well the dancing program, because a lot of people have issues physically right now that they can't do a more harder workout. But I think these two programs, Amoya takes you from zero to really to your peak. And I mean, some of the things, downward dog, my God, when I started and I looked at him, I said, are you fucking real? Now I do it. It's not even a problem. I go into Cobra, downward dog, dog. And I'm like, whatever, you know, but it's so funny. And exactly that, how does it make me feel? I don't care if it's written Beachbody on it or Keep Fit or whatever it's called. It's about, how does it make me feel? What are the results that I'm seeing? Is it solving my personal problem? And if it is, that's what I'm talking to. And when I meet people, as I say, you know, I'm doing Beachbody has become for me a side business. You know, I'm not even an active coach anymore. Well, I'm active, but I'm not. I did months ago, I was just posting. I kept posting as well. And I thought like, nah, that's not about it. If somebody comes to us now for advice in general in life, and we see he could maybe improve on the fitness level, we could talk on that level, and it would resonate with him, and we would have then Beachbody to say, okay, listen, this is a good program you could do, but it would be part of whatever we offer him as a coach. It's not anymore our integral part of business, because it doesn't make any sense to us, actually. I mean, and Kellyanne, correct me, but I'm sure you went through that as well. And Kellyanne is one of the founders coaches here in the UK, and she has been struggling for so long, because when they come here, 2017, you are an Insanity life instructor and everything. And still she was struggling because the strategy didn't work. It's just yicky sales. I'm sorry to say it.
I think that's it as well.
From a place of heart to them, actually, as well.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Tony, but for me, a lot of it was to do with, like, I felt like I had to protect my energy.
Mm-hmm.
The husband, hello.
Running away now.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I did end up falling off the wagon with Beachbody as a coach for a while, a good long while, because I was doing all this stuff. And it, again, like you say, it felt really icky, and it felt like I was just spamming people all the time. Whereas now, so I'll do like a 5-day free challenge, but it's not just a challenge around fitness. I put all my coaching into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got one coming up next week, and I don't approach people about it. It goes out on lead pages. I put the links out there. If people want to come to me, then they will come to me. So yeah, I've got one next week, and a lot of it starting around sort of the 6 human needs and different bits and pieces like that, and kind of how we create change rather than this is Beachbody, have some Shakeology.
Yeah,
like,
which people are turned off by immediately.
Yeah.
I love that you're doing that. And you know what? I resonate with both of you. Amanda and I actually, when we run joint programs, we incorporate the Beachbody programs into it as well. And I think, you know, it's exactly what you just said. The idea of like, first of all, I always say to my clients, sales is sharing. Sales should be sharing, and that's it. And you're never forcing someone to do something, but you are giving them a pathway. You're giving them a pathway to, you know, to invest time and energy first. Like I'm always like, really think about, and I love that you're doing this challenge, because it's like, really think about looking for the people who are coming to invest their energy and their time in you, because that is actually more valuable than money. And you know, once you've found those people, the next logical step for them would be a financial investment of some sort, but it's never pushed, right? It's always like, this is the next option. And I find in business, when you're the unicorn that's actually non-pressured, like when you just approach people with love and joy and opportunity, then there's a really magical thing that happens, which is they stop holding tight onto their wallet. And they start going, you know what? Like, I feel like I can trust you, because ultimately, like, it's never about someone giving you money. It's always about someone trading you their money for your transformation that you're going to help provide them. That's what it is. It's just an exchange, because money is like always in rotation and circulation. Like, it's not like, you know, I think some of us, we get into this feeling of like, when we're investing in something or when we're asking someone to invest, that it's going to like disappear into a black hole somewhere. But it's like, no, this is an exchange. And I think, you know, building out so much value for free first is so vital. Like, you want people to be like, if that's what you give me for free for just investing my time and energy, like, I can't even imagine what you do when I invest. And there's a power in financial investment that people forget. And that is when you actually put skin in the game, you're even more engaged, because if you're anything like me, I'm like, if I'm going to put my money into this, I better be getting a lot out of this, because like, this is a real specific investment, right? And I think we've just got to find clarity, because without clarity, people will never trust us. If we're not clear on what we do and how we help, people will always kind of feel like, you know, I don't really know what I'm going to get from this. And I think the whole Beachbody conversation is like, you know, even the word Beachbody has become so charged. Like, people are like, oh, Beachbody means, and they think of, you know, I don't know if they're thinking of P90X or they're thinking of whatever, right? But they're like, which, by the way, P90X is insane, and I've done it 3 times and I'm like dying still thinking about it. But I think, you know, exactly what you said, when it's much more about the transformation and Beachbody just being one tool that helps with that, it's a much stronger way to ensure that you're providing value for people, because it's a long-term commitment. That all offers, if you're a coach, service provider, anyone, even if you're a product-based entrepreneur, it should always be the long game, everything you do. You never want to like have someone that invests in something with you for a day or two or gets one product and you never talk to them again. That's the worst. You want someone that's going to be in your world and that you feel you can be in their corner for a long time, because it does take time for someone to continue to grow. And I think people really do want that. They want to feel committed to something. They want to feel supported by something.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've actually, sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead.
So I've actually invited all of my current coaching clients as well for the Beachbody side to it, because I think they'll get so much more out of it, especially the guys that have fallen off the wagon after a few months. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do workshops and stuff for them in my group, but I feel like the more that I've learned over the last year, the more and more that I can give people, which again is why sort of Chris and I have ended up kind of thrown together somehow in the stars. But you know, it's like all these little steps, isn't it? And it's more and more that you can give to the more and more people, if that makes sense. So I mean, it is a massive learning curve, don't get me wrong, but I like to think we're up to it.
You made a very good point there to me as well, because you see, like, I have just one of my customers, and actually one of coaches that is with me, sign up with me. You know, I have this Thermomix. I have ever heard about the Thermomix, this cooking machine. So I was a Thermomix advisor as well, and I love it. But you know, I grew up, like, half of my family is German, and my grandmother had it already in the 60s when they came out with it. So obviously today it's with touchscreen and 65,000 recipes online, and it does everything. 22 kitchen machine in one. It's the Mercedes or the Rolls Royce of the kitchen machines. I mean, costs about $1,800, but the investment is well worth it because it saves you so much money. Anyway, I was an advisor, and again, it was like every week you had the training and you had that one. Anyway, I met one lady there, and I did a cooking channel for a while for Thermomix doing that. And then she wanted to lose some weight because she has a marriage to go to. And I know she's probably listening to it. Hello, Diane, if you're listening to it. Anyway, so I put her on a tracker, and I always, when I did coaching for Beachbody, I put them on with me, but I didn't use any of the Beachbody trackers or anything. I actually had every week 30 minutes coaching call with them. That is the thing that I always did, and I did it for free, and I didn't charge them anything. I wanted to see how they're doing, how can we change things, and I'm a nutritionist, I'm a portion fix master, mentor, and all these things. To be mindset, I have done the master mentor coach as well. So it's like I was trying to help them, because sometimes you see, and she actually went to me, she said, you know what, it's not really right, these little containers for me. So I said, okay, let's switch to the 2-minute mindset. And she did that. Anyway, there's another issue then where she felt like she couldn't follow it that way, and she didn't feel like she was doing right. Anyway, so she reached out to me, kind of completely different subject. And then I had a conversation with her last week. Actually, last week we started it. And I said, you know what? I don't care you having your Shakeology. I don't care if you're going to do that. But what I want to do right now, and that's here what I mean, go give her in the heart, say to her and said, listen, I'm going to put you on a 3 months personal coaching with me. We're going to have weekly coaching calls, not even fitness related, just mindset related, and actually coach you as a person. I coach you. And I said, it's going to be zero money for you, free. I'll give you 3 months free, which, you know, it's quite a value, big value. But I'm doing that because I do believe, and we had Debbie already on here, this 71-year-old lady in the States that had COPD and turned her life around, and she's been for 5-6 years a coach by now, and she has 0 customers. And I just met her in a group, and I brought her in, and we have the testimony actually on our webpage now. From this call we had here, and she cried. She said that apparently I was the most amazing thing that ever happened in her life. And it's just, and I help her setting up her webpage. We're rebranding her as I'm not going to say it right now because it's secret still, but it's going to happen. It's all traction going there right now in this direction. So I've spent hours and hours on end coaching her personally, her mindset, how to set up her business properly, and how to create her brand. And I'm not asking for anything. Why would I? Because I'm actually giving the value, and I believe in that one. And I actually, as I said, it comes back to me tenfold. The universe is funny in this way. Actually.
Yes.
And this is what people don't get. We're talking here right now very business related, but as for us, as you know, the Sparkle Your Magic Impact is about every aspect of your life. And said we had like five-day training or 5-day group. Well, we are starting now. We as well do the 5-day to Sparkle Your Magic Impact challenge as well, which we do. But this challenge is we're going to give you value. Yes, I'm serious. We're going to offer you at the end to continue and doing masterclasses with us, or to come and event. And we're going to announce that today, actually, because on the 11th of November, we're going to do an event here in the UK. We don't know if it's going to be live or it's going to be virtual. We're going to have to decide on that one. And next year, we have planned the 11-11 again. Here are our angel numbers, because they keep coming back to us. And Kelly and I want you to tell her story about the things. And we have the video of proof. We have many situations where it's really interesting. But anyway, so we're doing these events, and I think it is just doing this 5-day challenge. It's just we want to sparkle your magic impact. And once we have sparkled you, we expect you to go out and change the Joes of the world. That is our core message. And it doesn't matter if you buy afterwards a master program from us, or you come to the event, or you do anything else. It is about, we believe we're impacting the world. And when we impact the world, it will come back to us. You have to just trust it. And that's when Bob Burke calls it the 5th law, basically. Be open for receptivity. So get it back. Be open for receiving, because only when you give that much value and you actually put enough people, but for other people's interests first, you will automatically receive, but you need to be open for it as well. So it's a very interesting. Before I just do something, I just wanted to share the screen here really quickly. So I'm going to show you a web page. Actually, I have 2 web pages. Let's go window here. I just find you now. Where we go? Sparkle Your Magic Impact. I'm actually on the wrong page. Okay, share. Let's see what happens. Oh my God, it does it actually really nicely. Well, anyway, I don't know nicely, but hey, listen, this is our new web page. So here we go. You have the thing. Here's the testimony of Debbie. It's a really emotional testimony. It actually cracked me up, to be very honest. I actually dropped up, and it actually is in the video where Kellyanne said, "Oh, he's gone," and then she talked, and I didn't come back on StreamYard for about 5 minutes, where Debbie then came in and I said, "Oh, did you take a nap?" And I said, like, no, I had to actually, it teared me up. It really teared me up. Because it's really so touching for me when you see how people actually do that. And I know I can actually see, I'm just really silly here. I don't want to put you away from it, but I'm going to bring up the site bigger right now. And I have to figure out still how to do these things. New to StreamYard. There we go, full layout. So you see, that's Debbie's testimony. And then here, we'll take you then to everything, and that's about us and why we're doing our mission. But I wanted to show you a lovely Tony. Well, where's your
I love that. I love those photos of the 2 of you.
Oh, really? You do?
Yeah, I really do. They're great.
Why is it not showing you right now? I mean, why is it showing still me? And I don't get that right now. It should be showing you. Oh no, it's me. It's me, silly me. Sorry, Tony. Here we go. I love this picture as well. Your eyelashes and your eyes are twisted, my friend. They are. You have to go as well. His reels. The reels are quite funny.
Yes, this is my acting world. So this is my acting side here. And you have my other world too.
And you have the other page as well. But you see, I still like it. And it's such an empowering message you're sending out to there. And I hope that every coach that needs to figure out how to do business comes and goes to you, because you are so aligned with well. And actually what I like as well, come here with the, is it the one-to-one coaching? I need to figure out where it was. No, it was somewhere you invite a person to coffee, and I love that. And I think
right on the bottom of the page
right
there.
Bottom, have a
there it is.
With me. And I think that is such a true thing. It's so authentic, really, like that. And for just to the last one, so I'm out of this entire webpage things here right now. If you want to become a guest on our show, please go to Calendly, and then it's actually Calendly /Sparkle Your Magic Impact. And here, just go and get signed up with us, and we'd be happy to host you here on the thing. So now I'm back to this one because I'm going to close this screen again here. So exit full screen layout. Now, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, well, how are we going to stop this? I love things when you figure out things while you're on a whim, basically.
Yeah, that's real. That's the authenticity. That's okay. the big part of it.
Why are we like this now? I have no idea.
I think there's another view on the bottom. You can change the view.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
There you go. Chris, I also have a gift for everyone. So I'll drop the link to it, but I have a 30-page e-guide that people can use to, whether they're a coach or not. If you're a coach, this is going to help you really build and scale an authentic biz. If you're not a coach, this is going to help you build and scale an authentic life, because the principles are the same. And the first real third of this ebook is really about who are you? How do you show up in the world? How do you make an impact? How do you give back? And then as we get into the second and third part, you can apply that to any walk of life. If you're in corporate, if you are, a stay-at-home mom or dad, like whoever you are, this is going to help you really make sure that what you're doing in your life is aligning with who you are. It's a human being, not just a human doing, right? So I'll drop that for, I think I just put the link for you there.
I'm trying to do right now. I'm going to bring it into a banner. You see, I love OBS actually, but the problem is, we had so much fun actually. We were laughing last week. We were just like, every time in the last 5 minutes, I said, screw OBS, let's go to StreamYard. And it's like really funny.
It's like me too. I'm the same way. I have OBS, StreamYard, Zoom. Like, you just jump around.
So that's the link. I just posted it there. So for getting that, and I think it's really great. We have as well a gift for you.
What?
Of course, yes. I'm going to send it to you in the mail Kelly, and she got hers today as well, because that's our idea for. It doesn't matter even if we do a big event with 5,000 people. Everybody's coming is going to get the same one, and it's like a little bracelet.
A little bracelet. I love it.
And your sparkle has not gone unnoticed.
Well, I'm a big bracelet fan, as you can see.
That is great, and it's like, and it pretty much. And I actually want to. Everybody comes on the show gets the one. I'm just like that one, and I really the story behind it as well is how it happened. I went and looked for sparkling, and it's like a little sparkle star actually there. And I was looking for something like that, because I always think giving some people just an unexpected gift or whatever. And I went on to Etsy, and it's a private, and I love Etsy. I don't know if you go onto Etsy. I love Etsy because I'm all for supporting entrepreneurs. I mean, I love Amazon as well, don't get me wrong, because whatever I need, I'll get from that and I get it right immediately. But
I was just going to say that. I'm an Etsy. It's like the book and the Netflix thing. I'm definitely a big proponent for Etsy, but then I'll be on Amazon and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm on Amazon. And then I've ordered 5 things. But
that's what it is. But and I love that it's like a lady that does it here, and you can choose the color, and there are various messages, even the charms on it you can change differently, and I really love that. And when I got them, I said, oh my God, they're amazing. And I made this conscious decision: we're going to give every of our guests, customers, everyone gets one from us, and they're different with different messages as well, and I think they're just amazing. So I think this is what it is, giving value to people, and not asking for anything in return. I think it will come back to you anyway. So that's how it is. So yeah, we actually in hour 59 minutes and 47. It was so much fun.
I did a summit earlier today, and I had 15 minutes, which is hard for me because I'm many things, but brief is not one of them. And so I came in, I was like, let's do it. And we literally came right on the 15 mark, and I was so happy with myself. I was like, I don't know how I just did that. It was a lot of coffee, but yeah, it was great.
And that's pretty much what it is. Coffee. And here you see, I have a new not energized. I have a new energy drink that I found on Amazon. Golden Standard, something like that. And this is like about 10 coffees. I tell you, if I have that one, it's like a thing. So I'm going to have a problem sleeping tonight. But I've been dealing with our webpage last night and the last 2 days. Anyway, Kellyanne, could you get on it now?
Kind of. It's still not properly working. I don't know what's
Well,
going
it's
on.
it's still the SSL, and they don't even know what it is.
I was going to say blame
So
Apple.
that's what we talked about earlier with messages and what people are talking about is like, see, when looking at Steve Jobs, actually, Apple went completely haywire. I mean, initially it was think different, and what a message he gave us with that. I mean, I'm on Mac since probably I'm 15, since ever. I never liked Windows. And then he left the company, obviously, for his sickness at that time. And then Apple went all haywire because they had suddenly at one stage, I think, 65 different products like software and this and that and that. And they were trying to become the next Microsoft. And that's why Steve decided to come back. If you ever read his story, he actually decided to come back and he said, hang on a minute, we're completely losing the
plot
that what we want to do here, thinking different, revolutionizing the life of people, not selling another product and niching down to thousands of products here. We don't want that. And I feel nowadays, I'm very honest to say that, and unfortunately he left us. The company goes again a bit like in this direction, and I think it's going the wrong direction right now because it becomes cheaper. Apple was known for, my God, these computers lasted for years without a problem. Now you get an iMac and you think like, well, it's going to last me 2 years, to be very honest. And this is really, really bad because the core message of Apple is just diluted by profits. And actually, they still making, I think, what they made $6 trillion last year.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, trillion. We're not talking about $1 billion, we're talking $1 trillion. This is the value of this company. And that is ridiculous. So what are you worried about? Nothing. But if you keep going like this, people are going to get upset and more upset. I mean, with the iPhone, I love the iPhone. I'm since 5 years now on Samsung, and I'm way happier with my Samsung because I felt like every time they released a software update, my phone broke or got slower and everything because they brought out the update, and 3 weeks later they launched the new iPhone. And it's like 5S, 5SG, and I mean, seriously, you're just milking the people. And that is not the right thing to do, is it? I mean, paying $250,000 for being a platinum member, lifetime platinum with Anthony Robbins is a lot of money, but it's not even the value he's giving you. It's not even, it's a drop on the hot stone, to be very honest, to say that to you. And that's what I think people misunderstand completely, to bring actually the value and, being authentic with what you're doing. And I think Tony, and that's why I love Tony, he has always been authentic with himself. He always said what is going to happen and what he is. And he even admits to his failures. And I think that's why he is so successful and why he's so impactful on the world, because he always keeps it real.
Absolutely. I mean, a huge fan of Tony Robbins as well. And I think, he's definitely been a major influence, as has Brene Brown. I find, oh my gosh, Brene Brown is like, I literally, going back to that question before, it was like either Oprah or Brene. It was one of the two that I want to hang out with. But both, exactly. But yeah, you know what? The Apple, first of all, what's so funny is I'm a huge Apple user. Like, I'm a avid Apple user. I'm doing the update literally today, so like it's hilarious that you're saying that, because I'm like, here I go, I'm gonna update and hope for the best. But to iOS 15. But I think, I agree with you. I think what happens is, and I really do believe that we're in, like, this is the age of Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm biased, but it's the age of Aquarius, and I think we're coming into an entrepreneurial spirit. I think COVID facilitated a lot of that. People started to realize they can work from home. People started to realize that things don't have to be done the way they've always been done. And I think there is a real sense of autonomy that people have adopted in the last couple of years. They've realized that they are actually in the driver's seat of their life more than they think. And I think that is an interesting opinion, because I think a lot of people see the other side, which is like, we're locked down and we feel like we have no control. But I think it's like, but I think we've woken up to that that we do actually have a lot more control than we think. And I'm hoping that the new model of major businesses is much more entrepreneurial based, is much more based on everyone's individual strengths. And I really think we're going to see that the corporations of the next 10 years are going to look a lot different. And I think Apple, they're in a precarious situation because they basically are at a crossroads, right? They can come back to what you said, which was their original mission, or they can continue going down this very dangerous path. And I think the same thing is happening with Disney right now, which I love Disney. I'm a huge Disney fan. I've got like my Mickey Mouse. Can you see him? He's right there. I got my Mickey Mouse there. My husband and I went to Disney for our honeymoon right before COVID happened, which like literally right before, 2 months before. We were like, thank God we did that. But, and I watch a lot. I love Disney. There's my Disney stick figurine up there. You can see him.
I have a mind-blowing moment right now, and I have to interrupt you because I planned, and we're thinking about when the next year's event, 11 November next year in the States, where we're going to do it. And for me, there was not even a question. It's going to be Orlando.
I'm going to be there. So
and we're going to have the keynote speaker on stage.
I am there, and I love keynote speaking. I love Disney. I'll pay to be there. I will pay you.
No, you're going to be our guest.
But what I appreciate that. I love that. What I was saying about Disney is like, I feel like today he would be like, what are you all doing? This is not what I wanted. You know what I mean? And you read the stories of even things like Epcot at Orlando and how he wanted Epcot to be a community and how he wanted it to be an actual functioning city. And you see how, of course, people develop things. They kind of build things based on what they think. And even his brother who took over, who had some of his energy, was not quite, he was much more business focused than Disney. Yeah. And you just wonder, you go like, well, Disney is in this very, like everyone's watching them, right? And they've accumulated every company. So they've taken over Fox, they've taken over the Muppets, they've taken over Star Wars. They own everything, right? Yeah. And you just want to, the optimist in me wants to go, they're in a really great position right now to make a huge impact if they come back to the messaging, if they come back to what Disney's actually about. And I really hope they do. I think they're towing the line right now, as is Apple. And I think it sounds funny, but every time like the three of us go online and help one person and say one thing, I really believe it does help that mission and going up to the top. I really do. And maybe I'm just a blind optimist, but I really do think that's a part of our mission.
That's our mission. And I think that's what we didn't meet by coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence.
Well, now that you said the Disney thing, I'm like, oh my God, like
it's so funny. And you're not going to make me laugh. I used to be a cast member at Disney, so
okay. But I'm packing my bags right now. I'm heading to the UK.
So, and I know that both some of my friends here, and I see that you actually made a really good point with Disney here. And actually, like, look, they have bought all these things, but they have neglected their parks. Now they're doing a big renovation in Europe here at Disneyland Paris, because the park never really took off, and people were it was too expensive, and the hotels were in a bad state. So they have redone all the states, the hotels now. The Hotel New York turned now into the Marvel Hotel New York. They have really invested so much money. They expanding the park because they have realized that. I mean, I was 2 years ago. I was last time in Orlando. And I loved Epcot and everything, but I was so disappointed in Epcot, and I was so disappointed in the Magic Kingdom. Only the Animal Kingdom that still I found had the sparkle going on.
Yes,
it was so much more Universal. Suddenly, I went to the Universal water park and everything, and I said, "Oh my God, Universal has taken over so much over Disney."
Yes,
and they're really doing that, and because they have noticed that the core value that Disney was. And always had this idea was to bring everybody together. That's why he was so bored, because he said there his grandchildren were going on the Ferris wheel, and he was sitting there and like,
I want to make a park for adults and kids. Yeah, that was a huge thing.
And he actually did that. But what we wanted to, because we're running here over an hour now, we want to keep it then always an hour. But we could probably talk hours, and we're going to bring you probably back as well again. But I wanted to tell you about our entire thing with the angel numbers. And Kellyanne's personal thing. Please, Kellyanne, tell the story. And it is freaking. And that's where you see how everything goes back and aligns back together.
Which one? The bit with my angels?
Yes, it was your angels, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having the numbers. I'm constantly seeing the numbers.
So Chris always sees the numbers, but in all of my workout videos that I post every day, I literally constantly have flying orbs around my room all the time. It's mental. And I didn't even notice it. And it was my friend's husband who he messaged me on Instagram and he was like, you need to replay your video back. And I was like, I just mindlessly post it. Do you know what I mean? Mindlessly post them. And I looked at it and they were just everywhere. I was like, what on earth is going on? And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And every now and then it still happens, not as much, but it
and
was
then the
nuts.
other day we had a problem with Zoom. We were actually
and it was
with
happening
Zoom
again.
and OBS, and she didn't even tell me. And she said the day later she writes me a message. Oh, a thing you didn't even know while we had all this going on, and we were fuffing around, getting on. We went through StreamYard. She said she had them back on the screen again, and she was now not working out. She was sitting in front of her TV, or actually a computer.
Nuts, absolutely nuts.
So 3 quick things. 1, I absolutely love angel numbers. All my pricing in my company is built around angel numbers. And my husband and I, when we met, we're both very spiritual. He's a Reiki healer. He's like, we're both in that world. We see angel numbers all the time, every single day. 2, I looked up at the little red live thing as you were talking, and it literally said 1-11-11 when you were saying that, which was like so funny. And also I'm like, of course. And 3, when were you in Disney 2 years ago? Do you remember the month and in the year?
2 years ago. Well, it was 2019, and I think it was in. No, I can't tell you the months right now. I really don't.
Was it December?
It could be over. It was actually over. It must have been over Christmas because it was the Christmas decorations. Everything.
So that's when I was in Disney, December 2019. That's when we went on our honeymoon. So like, I'm sure we were there at the same time, which is so
probably
cool.
We were.
Yeah.
We just probably passed each other a couple of times. And
I love it.
I love to go there to see as well friends I work with, and you know, it's some of them are still there after 35 years, and I'm really impressed that they stay there. But they're all saying the same thing as you said. It has lost its sparkle, and now I think some of the managers came back now, and they actually got new management, top management that is redoing it. They brought in some people that really go back to the message and the core values, and what they're giving, the value they were giving to customers. That's what Disney was known for excellent customer. It was always expensive, even in the 70s, even in the 80s. Price tag. But what you got as value if you came into a Disney hotel, it was this wow factor.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, don't get me wrong. When we were there for our honeymoon, we stayed at Coronado Springs, which was gorgeous. This like very Mayan themed Disney resort, and it was amazing, and the service was incredible and top notch. And I ended up like actually hurting. Long story short, I ended up hurting my back during like on one of the rides. And I think now, like looking back, I think they were just trying to like avoid a lawsuit. But the whole hotel staff was like at my door every like hour, being like, "How are you? We brought you chocolate. We brought you some Advil, some aspirin. Are you good? Everything good? Do you need anything? We're gonna book your tickets for you at the end." But I mean, even that, like I was like, that is the type of service that I strive to provide with my clients. Disney is one of my main influences with my business. I want it to be an experience. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be fun, you know, and I think that's a really key component. Even in like the training portal that I have for my clients, there's like a point system. Like it's like you're building up points and you win prizes, and you like it's meant to feel like an adventure. And I think ultimately we all want that. We all want some sense of adventure in our lives, and we lose it. We lose it when we get too serious. So
yeah, we definitely. On that note, and I want to get your husband as well on the show one day, because he's going to have a great message. So please bring him on. It's like really, really like would see that. Tony, it was such a pleasure to have you today, and it was our pleasure actually, and
likewise.
Yeah. And we're going to see you at latest 11/11 next year in Orlando on stage together.
It's happening. We're making it happen.
Change the world together.
And one thing I miss, I'm such a world traveler. I love to travel, so I'll definitely come see you in the UK at some point.
amazing.
Do that as well. We're looking forward to you. We're going to show you all around the nice sites.
I'd love it. I'd love it. And come to Canada. Come to Canada, eh? I'll show you everything around here too.
Oh, lovely to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.